let's just go ahead and see. All right. We're just going to wait for everybody else to arrive. For anybody that's interested. I know you all are oh, by the way, I should probably go ahead and introduce myself for all those that don't know me. My name is Joe Faulkner, and no, there's no you, contrary to popular belief. I'm not related to the author, so my family claims. But just, yeah. So probably wondering why I'm not doing this at my normal time of about 12:30, and that's because I don't plan on speaking long about this. It's very simple, it's very concise, so I will try to keep it below 15 to 20 minutes for you all's sake, because I understand that you all you got things to do, you got people to see, you got deals to close. It just makes sense. So I will not try to take up too much of your time as we go ahead and get into it. So what I'm going to review today is about just that, online reviews. I understand that these are pretty much the backbone of any realtor or real estate agent that is currently living the life out there. So, but need not be afraid of the online review. There's a few different things that you can do in order to, 1, get more reviews, 2, to get more positive reviews, and 3, what to do should you get any bad reviews. So it's going to be about the good, the bad, and the fake. I'm also going to show you how to spot fake reviews, because as we know, this is the age of information where there is a lot of different falsified accounts that are going on out there. I mean, this is very in tune with the current cultural climate as of right now. We all understand that fake information has been traded back and forth, so this is going to help you to figure out how to see what's a fake review and how to address those should you be confronted with one. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and silence that. All right. So the first thing that you need to know is about how to get good reviews in the first place. A lot of people are afraid to ask for reviews within their own business. I'm not honestly sure as to why this is. I guess it just makes it feel like they are asking for something that maybe they just don't have any business in asking. I'm not 100% certain on that. Go ahead and type a comment in should you have an answer to that, because I'd be more than willing to see what reasons people have. And also don't forget to poll in on the question that I went ahead and asked. I asked, what do you do whenever you get a hold of a bad review? And a few of the choices, of course, were hilarious, because let's face it, I'm hilarious. And feel free to answer that at your leisure, and we'll just keep going forward. Back to getting the good reviews. You're probably wondering how to get them and how to keep them. There are myriad different ways to go about that. So here's the formula that you want to go ahead and use. You want to go ahead and get your sphere of influence in on it. You want to get your past clients in on it, and then you want to get your referrals on it. So those 3 together are going to create a deadly combination for you to go ahead and cash in on. So because a lot of people nowadays, they won't do business with you just based on referrals alone. In fact, 91% of consumers use online reviews before they make any sort of decision. And this is a vast difference over a standard referral that a lot of realtors and real estate agents and professionals are used to having. So it's not just based on one person anymore. It's based on a whole collective. I believe this is very reflective of the current environment and the current social climate that we're currently in right now and participating in. And I was actually talking to another person yesterday about what marketing is going to be doing within the next little while. I will get to that later, but this whole social participation thing is only going to get even more it's going to be more on the rise the more the time continues forward. So reviews are going to be the one thing that you want to keep an eye on, But just know that 91% of people use online reviews before they actually use any referral based on one particular person. Mind you, if someone gets a referral to use your service, that is only going to help. That is going to create a sort of social trust, because that's what you want. You want the public out there to trust you with with pretty much their house, one of their biggest investments that they have in their entire life. So not only will that help to create trust, but it'll also help you to get on the forefront and on the top of their mind. So just something to keep in mind as you're trolling forward and going along that route. So you want to keep on the social proof, and you want to keep on going with those positive reviews because it'll make them trust you more. So the first thing that you want to do is to go ahead and choose which review site is going to be good for you. There are, again, so many different avenues that you can take, and there are so many different ones that you can utilize to your own marketing advantage. There, of course, everybody's heard of Zillow, everyone's heard of realtor.com, and both of them have their good and their bad points. So the good points of Zillow were that it's very popular with buyers and sellers, and you can do you can pretty much communicate with them on any level. They have a rating system. They're user experience friendly, and a lot of people recognize the name. They recognize that Zillow is a legitimate company, and that due to their algorithms, they make sure that they look out for their customers. That is pretty much why people tend to trust Zillow. Realtor.com, they also have a more sophisticated algorithm than Zillow does. So they got a lot of SEO work going for them. So unlike Zillow, which pretty much took the advert route, which means that they took a lot more advertising dollars out and using other different avenues besides just digital advertising. Realtor.com used more SEO more than anything else, and that would count in turn for you as well, because whenever someone types in your name, realtor, or whatever city that you're in, you're going to come up. Although my only thing about that is that a lot of people aren't going to do that kind of search. They're going to be searching for real estate agents in blank city. They're going to be looking for that. So not necessarily your name unless it was recommended to them. So that was my problem with it. Yes, SEO does work for you in this case, but unless someone has been referred or referred you over to them first, then it's going to count a little bit less. So that was my issue with it. But the good thing about Realtor.com is that they're a little bit more strict. They're a little bit more strict than Zillow in terms of the leads. They use a lot of professional skills in order to rank the agents proficiently to give a complete picture to those that are going to be looking for you. The number one thing, well, not number one, but you know what? Yes, the number one thing that I would again ask for you to do is to utilize the social media to your advantage. Now, this means using Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Those three are going to be the most important, and I'm not just saying this because I'm biased. I'm saying this because this is only going to become more important as we go down the road. Sure, Zillow and Realtor.com have their good points, but Facebook as well as Instagram, I will get into that in a minute, are going to be the two best avenues for you to take, and here's why. Facebook and Instagram are going to be they're more participatory in their platforms. So unlike Zillow and Realtor.com, where the potential client is going to be taking just a very, almost as if they're watching from behind a wall, like they're just looking at it and they're reading all these things and they're pretty much just doing their research and just going on about it. While on the other hand, if you were to go on Facebook or Instagram, those are going to be a lot more participatory. People are going to be interacting with you and your brand, and you're going to be interacting with them, and that in turn creates more social trust and creates more, what was the word that I used earlier? Sphere influence confidence. So that's one other thing that is going to inspire them. Knowing that you're active in your own brand and your own way to participate with people that are not even prospects, that's going to count for you in the long run. They're going to consider you to look past just the commission and to look at people as, well, people. It's going to count for good stuff. So Facebook, here's the reason why you want to use Facebook. It's because of that level of engagement. You can post your listings on Marketplace and go from there. Actually, one of the other realtors that I was talking with just a few minutes ago, she was mentioning how she used Facebook Marketplace as a way to advertise a lot of the listings. She said, and I quote, "It's free advertising, so why not use it? Use the Marketplace to your advantage to go ahead and get the listing out there." Now, whether you actually get an interested buyer or not, it's going to put that more out there. It's going to put your brand into that certain awareness. So keep that in mind, utilize all the avenues, including the Facebook Marketplace. There's been a lot of agents that have had great success. Tanya Eldert has been another one of the agents, well, now our managing broker in the Western Florida area. She used Facebook Marketplace, double the awareness of one of her listings to create, again, that awareness, and actually managed to sell the house that way. And here's another thing about Facebook, besides using the marketplace to market your listings, is to go ahead and use the reviews page. Those are going to be insurmountably helpful to give people a sense of who you are and what even your niche is should you choose to go that route, which I hope you are, because if you're just broad swiding it, then if you're painting things with a broad swath, then it's not going to turn out well for you. That's the big company secret. But use the reviews and set that up properly. For anybody that's interested in setting up their reviews on their Facebook page or anything like that, feel free to leave a comment. I can leave a link for you to go ahead and show you how best to do that. So that's just something to keep in mind. Oh, I'm sorry, I totally missed this. I wanted to go ahead and show you some of these statistics that I found out about. Now, this is through the Rebus University. We have Rebus University for free for all of the agents with Realty Partners. So this is how I gained access to it. So thank you very much to the broker. And I will go ahead and flip the screen over right now so you can see it. Here are a lot of these statistics that you personally as a realtor need to understand and know about. Like I said, 91% of consumers regularly or occasionally read online reviews. That's a lot of people. So there's only 9% of people that are out there that are not reading those or just using different avenues to get a sense of your brand and who you are. 74% of consumers say that positive reviews make them trust a local business more. 84% of people trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations, like I said earlier, so that's something to keep on your mind. 59% of consumers look at 2 to 3 review sites before they make a decision about a business. So again, that's where your Zillow comes in, that's where realtor.com comes in, that's where your Facebook comes in. And then let me go ahead and go on Instagram too. And I know a lot of people are thinking, Instagram, why am I going to do that? Here's why. It's because it's a very pictorially centered website. It's a very pictorially centered service. So you want to go ahead and cash in on it. And here's why. Is because when people get testimonials, you can go ahead and create a little graphic and then have the testimonial in it. I do that for the Realty Partners Facebook page. Although there was an interesting tip that I obtained where they said to go ahead and take one of the pictures that you take at closing or anything like that. Take the selfie when you close, and proceed to use any word of that one testimonial to put that out there. So again, that's just a way to go ahead and do that once you get started. So you can use any of the other platforms that I mentioned to get your name out there. But Instagram, I believe, is going to be more useful as time goes down the road. Mostly because of 33% of new buyers are going to be first-time home buyers, and a lot of them are going to be around my age, which is around 30, 32. So go ahead and go ahead and look into that further. You get familiar with Instagram, know the ins and outs of it, and get people in on using that with you. That's a totally different live event that I will probably do later on, and probably in March. I want to say March. If it happens closer than that, then yay, awesome. But that's something to keep in mind. Let's go ahead and go back to the statistics. So again, 47% recommend a local business on Facebook. 54% will visit the website after reading positive reviews. The positive is very important there. 90% of consumers read 10 reviews or less before they feel they can trust a business. 68% of consumers form an opinion by just reading 1 to 6. And then 73% think that reviews older than 3 months are pretty much irrelevant. And that is something to keep in mind too. I know that I see a lot of realtors out there that have very old reviews. And think about it like this. If you were to go on Google Plus about a restaurant that you're interested in visiting and you see reviews that are from, like the earliest one is from 3 months ago, you're wondering what's happened to the business. Did something happen to it? Did they shut down? Is there something I need to be aware of? And that in turn could turn people off. So you need to be aware of what reviews are going to be out there and how soon you're going to be getting them. And then we'll quickly go over how to get those good reviews in just a second. So let's see. Okay. This is actually from Rebus University as well. Again, it is free to all of the agents that are with Realty Partners, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a sneak peek just so that way you can see what exactly it is that I'm talking about. So Rebus, what they were saying was to go ahead and, of course, naturally go ahead and provide all the good services. Basically, don't be a D-bag. Don't sit there and think that you're just thinking about the commission or actually not treating people like people. Treat them like they're people. It's very simple and it does good things and it works well for just about everybody. Ask for reviews. I've seen a lot of people on Facebook groups ask about how do I ask for reviews. This is actually quite simple. What needs to be done is that you don't just go straight for the kill the moment after a close or anything like that. What this guy was recommending was to go ahead and plant the seed at the very beginning, well, not the very beginning, but just when you see a window during this entire during not the entire transaction, but the entire time that you're with the people. So suppose someone says to you, oh, gee, we didn't even bother to think about that. That's really actually smart. And then that's when you could say, well, you know what? I thank you for that, but please save that for the review that you will be giving me later. I thought, oh, that's actually really clever. That's something that you might want to think about. And the third thing was to make the review a simple process. So what that means is that you have to pretty much you have to do the work pretty much for them. But here's the thing. That's only going to take you about maybe 5 to 10 minutes. And what's 5 to 10 minutes worth of the continuous amount of leads that are going to be coming in because you have these great reviews. And a lot of people are singing your praises because you took that extra 5 to 10 minutes to send them an email that says, hey, could you please review me? Here's pretty much all that it is. And enclose a picture. That's it. Make sure though that you direct them to your review platform of choice. And what that means is that ask them to go on either Zillow, realtor.com, Facebook. You can even do Instagram if you really wanted to, but that would have to be a separate post in which they tag you, which in turn could be great social return. But Facebook would do well. You could go on Yelp. There's a whole bunch of stuff on Yelp that is geared toward people that are running these types of businesses, and Yelp reviewers are very active. They're very loyal, so you might want to keep that in mind in terms of your review strategy. And there's also Angie's List. I included Twitter in on this, and here's why I included Twitter. I included Twitter because it's honestly a great way to be really quick with customer service. So suppose that someone is on Twitter and they tweeted you, oh, Mr. So-and-so really sucks. Da, 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 da. That's when you can swoop in the moment you get that, and just say, oh, hey, really sorry. I'm going to send you a DM to go ahead and figure this out. We'll get to that. We'll go in extension of that later. But it's a way to get instant responses. And this actually, here's the anecdote about all that, was that when I was traveling abroad in Argentina, Wells Fargo was pretty much in charge of my bank account at that point, to which I said to them, well, they were always locking down my account when I needed money, and I would swear up and down that I told them at least 3 different times that I was going to be down in Argentina, that I was going to be using my debit card, and that, this, that, but they kept shutting down my account. So I went on Twitter and I said, I don't understand why all this is happening and doing all that and all this stuff and things. And surprisingly, Wells Fargo, their customer service department, reached out to me and said, hey, we're really sorry about this. Let's go ahead and take this off and do all that. Again, that's how you deal with bad reviews. We'll get to that in a minute. But just keep that in mind, is to make the review process really simple. Let me show you an example. So after taking this online course, I got this online review certification email thing to which it says, hey, congrats, you did all this. And then it says, can we ask you a favor? Can you take a minute to share your 5-star review of this course? Well, we really appreciate it. So again, you don't see this email being super long or being super complicated or anything like that. It's very short, it's very sweet, and it's to the point. And that's how you want to keep your reviews or keep the asking process therein. Now, they were saying also that you don't want to wait to get a review because oftentimes they'll either forget the process or there will be something missing in their heads that could actually be helpful to you. They recommended that you send out an email the exact day after you close. Here's the thing though, I apologize, but there's this other handy tool you will see over here that I have the Boomerang app over here. This is something that you could put on your Gmail account, and oh dear. So this is something that you can put on your account, and what you can do is that you can click it, and then if you can go ahead and schedule an email. Actually, let's go ahead and pretend that I'm sending this back. So let's go ahead and say thanks for the review. Well, if I could spell, that'd be great. Thanks for the review. I hope that you have a great day. Okay, so suppose all that is going on. So you go ahead and you send that email, but here's the thing, is that you can send this later, and you can send it, say, tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, in 4 hours. So you could go ahead and type this email out beforehand, and then as soon as that deal closes, I could go ahead, or after you write the email, you could send it out 4 hours after the close, and then just remind them, hey, I would love it if you were to review I would love it if you were to leave a positive review, and just go along there. You can also schedule the next couple emails afterwards if they still have not done the review for a period thereafter. You can send it up to a week after, just asking them, hey, if you haven't already filled out this review, I would really appreciate it. It helps on my business and all this other stuff. So that would help. So yeah, again, send later. You can send it up to 2 weeks to a month in advance. You can specify a certain time. I love Boomerang. I have done so many emails where at that moment, I remember I had to do it, but it's not supposed to be sent out until 2 or 3 days from now. I go ahead and type it up. I use Boomerang. I throw that in there, and then it's all done. Okay, so moving on further. So let's see, we already got you. Yep, automate the online review process. So what this means is that, again, using Boomerang would be a way to automate those. So you can write up those 3 emails and send them out at different times. Or whenever you get a new review, say on Zillow, I understand that you can respond to those immediately, or you can go ahead and put the widget into your website to make those reviews come up live. That kind of instantaneous uploading of those reviews will help to establish yourself and make sure that you're current and that people understand that you're still in the business. So let's go ahead and sally forth then. So, all right. Again, this is something from Rebus that I love, and so they're talking about which reviews to use on your website. Now, again, this is kind of, to me, this is kind of intuitive. You don't want to be fake. You don't want to provide a disconnect, but you just want to keep these in mind. Again, before and afters, and then all that. Here's the one thing that they emphasized a lot of is to use a picture. Make sure you get a picture of them in some way, shape, or form or fashion. This is going to be very, very important for when you use those types of reviews for your future advertising endeavors. So again, that's going to be very important. One of the ideas that they had was to go ahead and put a Facebook ad to send out to your past clients as well as your SOI to make sure that you can get more reviews. They also talked about holding contests, among other things, but do not use a contest on Yelp because apparently Yelp really doesn't like it. They will flag the account and they will shut you down. So let's not have that happen, realtors. Anyways, moving on forward, talking about negative reviews. I remember mentioning this some time back, about how you can utilize bad reviews to your advantage. I'm just going to go over this very quickly yet again, just to refresh your memory on what to do should that happen, which hopefully it doesn't, because you provide great service and you know what you're talking about and you're not a D-bag. So again, here's the other things that they recommend to go ahead and do would be to don't ignore it. For the love of all that is holy, do not ignore it, because what that's going to show is that you do not want to communicate with them, and that in turn reflects negatively on you. Second off, please do not insult anybody that leaves a bad review. It is your job as a professional to take the high road on this one. It is your job to be responsible, even if that person turns out to be an angry, hot mess. It is your job to keep your cool and to make sure that you remain centered throughout this entire interaction. So just be sure about that. There have been many, many horror stories about people just getting into fights. Actually, hold on. Let me find one example really quick, because I know there's quite a few of them out there. Let's see if anything pops up. Bad customer service interactions more likely to be shared than anything else. Yeah, I believe that. Let's go ahead and go over to images, because this is a thing where people get into fights over, and I'm pretty sure if you type in people that fight on the internet or something along those lines, how not to take a bad review, would probably turn out a lot of entertaining moments to say the least. But let's go ahead and go back over here. So again, handling negative reviews, it's something that you want to be well versed in, because it's going to happen no matter what you do. There's always going to be that one angry person that just can't handle their own anger. And again, that's where you have to keep your cool. So again, address it immediately, don't ignore it, and try to make the person happy. And Amazon does this all the time. So actually, I left a bad review about some headphones that I bought, because they said, oh, you know, these have like crystal clear quality and all this other stuff. And to which when I got them, I did not get any of that. They said that there was going to be a good amount of bass to them, that was going to be all these great things, and they had great 5-star reviews. And I thought, oh, okay, this actually, okay, so I feel secure in buying these. But when I got them, I was not satisfied at all. They immediately got back to me within like a few days or so and said, hey, we're really sorry about this purchase. We're willing to refund your money. And I thought, okay, you know, that's good of you, but I honestly didn't take it, because that's a whole nother thing, is that, well, we're going to get into fake reviews, so I guess this is a perfect segue, was that they wanted to refund my money, but they wanted me also to change my review to 5 stars. And well, I did not, because I believe that people need to know the truth about a certain product, and instead having to buy one's own one's loyalty doesn't exactly work out the best. So how to spot fake reviews then is going to be the next main thing. A lot of times, how you can spot a fake review is that they will use language that sometimes doesn't make sense. So they'll probably be speaking in English, but their grammatical structure will be a little bit off in some way or another. If not to mention, a lot of these 5-star reviews, those can also be fake as well. They can be brought about by bots. Amazon has actually taken a little bit of a step forward towards getting rid of these bots, which I believe they have done something. I would have to look into it to see what exactly that they did, but they've taken some steps to make sure that these fake reviews are not a thing. It's much like these fake Facebook accounts and fake Twitter accounts and all these other different fake reviewers that come in and out of everybody's lives. So again, look for the verbiage. That is the best way that I can tell you to look out for fake reviews, or even ones that have they have a profile, but it's strangely empty. Like there's not a picture to go along with it. There's no bio, there's nothing there. Now, I'm not saying immediately that these accounts are all fake. What I am saying is that, well, in my opinion, they're a little bit suspicious. Now, mind you, this person could have just started out and didn't even bother to get all those things because that's not important to them. But a lot of times, these people sign up for review sites because they want to participate in the collective that is going on around them, especially like Yelp and Facebook and all those other ones. So to me, it wouldn't make much sense to just go ahead and put a profile, go through the entire shebang just to leave a bad review. That I'm pretty sure there are some people out there who are purely dedicated to leaving negative reviews of that fashion, but to me that just sounds like a whole lot of mess to go through in order to make that happen. So that's how you can spot fake reviews. Beware the verbiage, look for other things in the profile, and you can flag them if anything else. And do keep in mind that people can use profanity a lot of times, which in turn will get that bad review off of them. Another thing that I want to say before I go is that with these reviews, they are very important, but also know that you want to keep the bad reviews too, and you want to keep those out in public should it not be resolved in an immediate manner. You want to keep those up there because that shows that you can handle things with grace, you can handle well under pressure, and that you don't capitulate all that easily. That's why I would keep bad reviews on there. A lot of people would say, oh, I don't want any of those bad reviews on there, I just want all the 5-star. It makes you look more human. If you make a mistake, it can make people connect with you on that level. It goes, oh, this person's not perfect. Oh, they're just like me. I'd rather be in business alignment with someone who is more along my lines. So that's just something to keep in mind as you go about that. I will go ahead and post a blog post about this later with all this in the archives. So feel free to message me or tweet at me. Again, I am at Joe Realty Partner, and tweet me your questions, your comments, your insults, your concerns, all those. It's all good. So, all right. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I will see you next week.